Hello, Sagittarius. It's Nicholas Ashbaugh. So good to see everybody. We're going to be taking a look here at a 2-month forecast, the month of July and also August, and this is going to help you navigate through all the twists and turns in the month ahead. I always like to begin with channeled messages, and appropriately enough, speaking of twists and turns, what came through as I was meditating on your sign was a tributary system, something that you would see in the United States, for instance, it would be Mississippi. In Africa, it would be like the Nile. There's a lot of different major river systems across the world that mimic these, but basically I was looking at a very large sort of river and then all the little fingers that kind of, the small tributaries or streams that feed into it. And in particular, it was that sort of branching out that was catching my attention. So big things, begin very small. So that wild rushing river at some point is a stream that you could step across. And it feels like you're at the beginning of something big, the tributary stage, the small stream. And sometimes there's frustration and desire and impatience to get to the roaring river. But it's so much richer, it's so much more manageable when you are able to first deal with the small sort of energy first, and then when something big comes through, you've got it. You're like, your feet are on the ground, you know how to handle it, and nothing can sort of get in the way. So begin planting the seeds of intention. Begin watching where energy's opening up, and don't underestimate something that may start with a little bit of a trickle, but a few days, weeks, or months down the road, it could be a roaring river of opportunity. Okay, so I don't know who out there needs to hear this, but it's really important to be patient and diligent right now. And for everyone else, we could look at the whole river metaphor as an ability to move around obstacles, because that's what a river will do. If it can't go here, it just kind of goes here. And eventually it wears down that and it can find a new way through. So flexibility and perseverance are also intrinsic to that whole energy of a river. Something starts small but gets big. If there's an obstacle, find a way through it or around it, and know that in time, I really see things flowing much more easily. And I'm so grateful this month that we get to look at 2 months together, because eventually here we can actually see how it's going to flow over 60 days. So let's go ahead and give the cards a shuffle and see what's in store for you. All right, please take a moment to close your eyes and create a circle of light in your imagination. Trace it around your body. Let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters so that you can receive guidance and information in the highest form. We have a slightly new layout that I'm going to be using today. I'll walk you through it here just in a moment. All right, so basically what you're looking at on the table, this is going to be past, present, and future for the month ahead. So this is going to be July. This will be August. In the middle, we have a connector, and then we have a block. This is the catalyst. This over here is going to be your karmic energy. And then over here, we have destiny. These are also summaries for the month, but let's do it one card at a time. I just wanted to explain this very special 2-month spread. Okay, as always, I like to begin with catalyst energy. So in the catalyst, we have a sacred space. Some of you might actually be doing what we see here, getting a little bit more comfortable in your living situation, nesting. You might be in a new job, in a new relationship, or a new apartment. You're trying to make it feel more comfortable. One thing that you can do in that situation is have a housewarming party. That's actually a great way to, it's almost like breaking the seal on something, but clear the energy by bringing new people in. Make sure that when you clean a space, by the way, you also smudge it. So for those of you that are like, Nicholas, I'm already in a space. Now it's time to clean, clear, and possibly rearrange that space a little bit, because when you start to move items around in a more ideal sort of placement, you open up the flow of energy. So home is really important here. King and Queen of Pentacles energy, ostensibly with these two crows. You could be nesting or sort of like working with something new, trying to get ready to birth something. These two birds are sitting on those eggs, so there might be one or two things that you're working on in the future. I mentioned all the tributaries leading into a major artery, flowing out into the ocean. So it starts small but gets big. So don't give up on whatever it is that you're setting into motion, even if it feels like it's taking forever for something to hatch, for an idea to hatch. Beautiful energy overall. Environment is going to be everything. If you're in a place where you can't focus because of like construction work, or if you're in a familial situation where there's arguing going on, or work where there's gossip or a sense of just fear or whatever, anxiety, it is going to be difficult to take something to the next level. So this is a month where you really don't have time for that. And so if you need to change up the environment to find that sacred space, absolutely, this is the time, this is the space to do it, okay? Whatever you decide to put your energy into right now, I think also you have a great chance of seeing that hatch, grow, and spring forth. All right, let's take a look at what's coming through as the karmic challenge here. We have the Five of Pentacles, and Five of Pentacles typically comes through because in the past, it could be recent past or the deep past, a rejection of sorts came through. A door was closed. So we see this person in front of the closed door, and you can see my index finger is pointing to the key, but this person's kind of lost in their emotions. Even though they have the key to open that door, the heart is holding them, is anchoring them in place. Sometimes we're afraid to open the door because we don't want to be rejected again. Sometimes we're just afraid of the unknown. And fear is a blanket. She's wearing it. Sometimes we settle for less simply because we're afraid, like, what if I actually am worth it? What if this happens and then I have to kind of rethink who I am? It's always worth taking the leap of faith and hope. You are worth it. You can do it. And intrinsic and part of this illustration is the key. So it really just takes a little bit of a push. Maybe it's from a friend. Maybe it's from watching this reading. Maybe it's just the internal knowing that this isn't enough. So something over the course of the half year that we've been through has not been enough in work, in relationships, in life in general. Maybe it's even like where you were living. Again, something you're not feeling that sacred space, that sense of community. So the challenge, and it's in the deep past, the karmic past, is to get past the Five of Pentacles. You've always had what it takes to heal yourself. You do deserve more than you have received, and you can and will be able to make it through this. You don't have to do it alone, though. And that's what we got with the Catalyst card. 2. It takes 2 to tango, and sometimes it's easier when you lean on the support of a friend, a counselor, a neighbor, anyone around you that might be able to help you see a way to open that door. But know this. You're worth it, you're worth more, and you can do this. Those are the takeaways from this. One of the challenges is how to stand up for yourself when you're feeling the sense of, I deserve more, I need more. And that's the big challenge here as we step into July. The first part, which represents past influences, is Nine of Swords reversed, overcoming fears. And it's understanding that sometimes we build a mountain out of a molehill. We make something more difficult than it needs to be. And for many of you, it makes sense because in the past it didn't come through, but the tide is changing. Things are shifting. With the Nine of Swords, it's always worth speaking up and asking a question, particularly when we're looking at this. You might just be afraid to ask for more. I don't think you need to be afraid because we see the scales of justice balanced, and we see a very outspoken Ace of Swords leading to that. So it's important to articulate something. But when you say it not with fear of rejection, but with certainty and with strength. So this is where it probably is going to be helpful to lean on the support of someone else to overcome some of the fear or anxiety. It's a natural part of being a human being. But work through that. What I find helps me in fearful situations is to educate myself on how others have dealt with it, what others have learned, and and also just to ask questions so that I can overcome my own lack of knowledge or expertise. Knowledge equals power. Power gives you confidence. Confidence helps you articulate yourself in a way that is going to be compelling. And that is something that is really important here, is to feel the confidence and really put out there your case in a way that makes sense, okay? What you want to avoid this month is burning yourself out. One step more in the Nine of Swords brings you to the Ten of Swords, which is absolute burnout. It can also be an argument. What happens here, if I can hold the card up, with the Nine of Swords, we lose sleep because we're not finding a way to process the emotions during the day. So it starts to creep into other parts of our lives, especially sleep and rest. You are not a robot. You need to get a certain amount of sleep. And this card is reminding you to know when enough is enough when it comes to obligations and boundaries and things of that nature. And by the way, I didn't mention it here, but Five of Pentacles can be getting sick. So what I see here is someone who's wearing themselves down a little bit or a little bit thin, and the stress can be that sort of straw that breaks the camel's back. We don't want that to happen. So this month in particular, know your limits, say no when necessary, and understand that by doing that, you're going to allow yourself to get into all of the really good energy that I see elsewhere in the spread. I'm so happy that the trickiest cards were actually the first two. It starts to get easier after this. All right, so as we look at the presenting energy for July, it's to take an idea to the next level. So we have a beautiful Ace of Swords here. Normally we don't see a person on it, but I'm happy that we see a person here. She is deep in thought. And it almost looks like the math meme, which you guys know that I love here. So literally, if you look at the little equations there, same thing is going on here. So I like that she's lost in thought, but there is a general nudge to get some of those ideas on paper. So an Ace of Swords reverse can be articulation, but also like sketching it out. There also is an encouragement with a reversed Ace of Swords to not be too rigid in your approach. Keep an open mind. Edit, revise, review. Remember our channeled message, the winding energy of a river or a stream or a tributary. Eventually it will get where it needs to be, but it doesn't take a straight path. When you look at a map, it's almost like the branches of a tree or the roots of a plant. So if you look at the Nile or the Mississippi, they're great examples. The Mississippi reaches all throughout parts of North America, and it's kind of fascinating how all of the systems work together. So get it out on paper, because what I just talked about, you're going to start to see the moving parts or the bigger pieces of the puzzle once you sketch out some of it. Otherwise, it's just one little piece that doesn't make sense yet. For those of you that are artists, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Composers, you might wake up at 3 in the morning and hum something into your phone and hit record, obviously. Writers, you scribble stuff down when you get a thought. Other people, like, it doesn't matter what, problem solving in general typically comes at odd hours, and you're like, I don't know how this is going to make sense later, but I'm going to record it. When I do readings for all of you, I take note of what comes through before and sometimes even the night before, because I'm already starting to tune into what I'm going to need to say. And it doesn't have to make sense for me. I no longer judge that. I'm the medium. I'm like the magician. I just have to pull it from the ethers and articulate it. And this is articulating it, writing it, speaking it, sketching it out. It does not have to be perfect. It does not have to be complete. It just has to be there. This is also an inquisitive card. If you need clarity on something, ask. If something doesn't look right, circle it, send it back to someone. Be picky, be inquisitive, and be flexible, okay? What I like about the month of July is by the end, you've achieved greater balance. So the karmic energy was in knowing your worth and managing your stress, because these two are working together, and then not overthinking. And now we have a card of achieving better balance. There's two sides to every story, and I love that this Justice card is just as empowered when she says no as when she says yes, or when she asks a question, as when she actually just says, okay, that's fine. So look at everything from both perspectives. See a setback, a challenge, or a failure as a chance to grow and know. And as long as you're growing and knowing something or learning something new, you are fine. You are passing life, There's no such thing as failing as long as there is that growth. It may be a month where you are making a major decision that requires legal expertise. Don't do it on your own. I mentioned some things are better with a partner. Legal things for sure. You may be weighing out the decision, a big decision. Should I or shouldn't I? It's going to get clear in August if it isn't in July. So I'm going to give you that piece right now. Don't feel like you have to rush to a decision. I love that we're looking at 60 days because I can tell you that. You may not be ready in July, but you will in August. What you can do in July is to get all of the pieces together so that you can weigh it with all the information. Don't rush. Don't second guess yourself. You'll know when enough is enough and you'll know when to move forward, okay? Let me see if there's anything else that I want to talk about this. Work-life balance, just balance in general. If there's something that's missing from the equation, articulate it, seek it out, and see what you can do to create that balance. So in each of the 2 months, I pulled an extra card to summarize it. So we have the karma, we have past, present, future, and now we have kind of like the outcome, the mini outcome for the 60 days. So what we see here is another card that can be connected to communication and legal matters, two things that we just talked about with the Ace of Swords and Justice. But now we have like the King at the top of the mountain here, the King of Swords. Notice how this artist, I think her name is Chris Ann, she beautifully illustrated that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to communication. We have an owl, we have a bat, we have a dragonfly, we have a crow, like all types all types of different birds and flying creatures. So I see this as multiple opportunities to communicate to multiple groups. You can't just cut and paste. For instance, if you speak to someone who's more senior, you're probably going to use more formal language, like senior at work or something. If you talk to a casual friend, you can just tell it like it is. If you're a business and you're trying to reach out to different segments of your audience, you're going to want to make sure that you're speaking to what matters most to them. Marketing, advertising, and general communication, one size does not fit all. You have to really, in order to stick the landing and to get to the person that you want to, you have to make it appealing to them. People do care about what you have to say, but they're going to weigh your actions and words as a whole, literally. So the sum of your actions and words, walk the walk and talk the talk. If you don't, they're not going to believe you. You can also look at other people in your life, whether you're looking for a job or a partner, and think to yourself, are they really emanating, does this match this? Or is it just kind of like a facade? These are important things to think about in this period of time. Now, you may find that you're starting to, like a partnership could be coming in. It could be an air sign. It could also be a chance for you to get into a new friendship, or this could be a legal contract that needs to be signed. But I see a new person coming in, a new opportunity coming in, and an important moment where you have to decide, how invested am I? Does it feel right for me? Is it enough? Do they see my worth? Because we don't want to rinse and repeat this. We want to get this to 6, 7, or 8 of Pentacles at the very least. So in a negotiation, ask for more, be realistic, base it on your expertise, etc., and also like what's going on out there. And in general, if there are opportunities to lead, to speak, or to basically get things rolling, this is a month to do it, because this is an idea and the King of Swords is bringing it to fruition. So I do think that one of these, 4 eggs is going to hatch by the end of July. So we see something coming into fruition, and then we see a lot more happening here in August, but we have to look at the connector card first, and thank goodness it's the High Priestess. This is a card, as you know, of manifestation. Thoughts are powerful, more powerful than usual. And that's why it was very important for us in the month of July to overcome the 5 of Pentacles. Because if you reinforce that or the fear-based 9 of Swords, you start to attract situations that reinforce it. So what we're going to do is break that down, create better balance, have confidence in our words and our visions. And in doing so, we basically start to give them the ability to take flight. So she wants you to kind of connect with the energy of can, will, and am. I can do it. I will do it. I am doing it. bringing it into the future and present tense rather than just a thought, an idea, or a plan. And the positive things as well. Rather than, I'm afraid that this will happen, say instead, I'm ready for this to happen instead. We're focusing on affirmative. We're focusing on the vision. We're acknowledging that there were challenges. We don't have to sweep those under the rug, but we don't have to allow them to define us. They build us up. They create strength. But as long as you learn from it again, you are ready for better days ahead. She's a really good card for management, creativity, and she's ready to help you see through anything. If you look at this card closely, you'll actually see that the eyes are kind of coming through the eyelids. So even when things are closed off to others, she's already open. She can see the key that will open this door. So don't get in your headspace too much in the month of July. If an opportunity seems a little bit more difficult, or if you can't see how to get through it just yet, keep working, keep being open, keep exploring, stay positive, because what we see at this sort of pivot point is that things start to change and move in a positive direction. Now, the block this month is, for some of you, could be a lack of resources. It could also be being overly independent. And I know that seems strange, but if you are so focused on doing it on your own, when the help comes in, when the opportunity comes knocking, you may be closed off to it. So overwhelmingly, Nine of Pentacles is a great card. The block could just be that you're waiting for more money or more resources, or you need to ask for a little bit more. So there's something around resources. Then the other thing about this is independence. So when it's reversed, there could be too much of a focus on I'm the only one, or I have to do it, or so releasing the control a little bit. Don't rush things though. This in the upright position is about taking your time, and we don't want to rush quality. And I love that there's a metaphor in this 60-day period with the eggs. It's not going to hatch until it's ready. And in order for it to hatch, it needs to be fertilized and it needs to be incubated. So you have to put time and energy and then wait. Things take time. So keep creating that sacred space. And now we're ready for the next month. So we just wrapped up all of July. We saw the connections in the blocks. Now we can start to look at what's coming through for August. Things start to get better, great even, because we have a celebratory card, Nine of Cups, followed up by the Lovers. So in the past influence, or at the very beginning of the month, we have Nine of Cups. This is an interesting sort of energy to kick things off because it's euphoric. You can see it as illustrated here, but it's also intense. So great days seem like the best days ever. Bad days seem like Chicken Little, the sky is falling, like, oh my gosh, it's never going to get better. Both of those are illusions. The best day ever and the worst day ever, those are probably exaggerated highs and lows. So this is about pulling it in a little bit closer to the center and finding the grace and the celebration in each day, trying to have a little bit of fun with the process, not taking yourself too seriously. And in doing so, you can have more fun. Have more fun with all parts of the twisting road, of the tributary that I saw earlier. Life is like a tributary. It's not going to be a straight shot from A to Z. So you're going to have to give yourself a little bit of time, a little bit of space, a little bit of patience, and have some fun. If I could go back and talk to a younger version of myself, like back in high school, for instance, or even earlier, I would say, don't sweat the small stuff. Don't worry if you didn't get a perfect grade on that. Did you learn something? Are you having fun? I wish I'd paid more attention in this class or that class. Just learning is not about perfection. It's about being able to actually apply the skills and retain them. And life is not about perfection. It's about building off of experiences, opening up the heart, opening up the mind. And that's why the Nine of Pentacles in reverse was too focused on either the amount of money or working on your own. So we want to get through that. And the Nine of Cups can be too focused on how you feel in one moment and thinking that that defines everything. It's one moment. Take a deep breath. Now you're in a new moment. And that's kind of what this card is trying to teach us. There could be some great news, though. There could be a wedding. There could be a new job. You could have one of these other hopes or opportunities hatching as well. And that's what we see here in the middle of the month, which is great. If you're looking for something to happen, mid-August is looking great. We have the Lovers, which of course we can read at face value. There may be someone new in your life that comes in and it's amazing. Friendship, love interest, coworker, doesn't matter. There's someone here that just brings that sense of joy, okay? Ultimately, I like to look at this as a magnet, which means that you can pull in whatever it is that you're looking for. In an existing relationship, you can deepen a connection, but in all other aspects of your life, this is about being able to attract and manifest, and it's beautifully married to the High Priestess. So what you see and believe, you can bring in, and it can meet or exceed your expectations, okay? One really cool synchronicity here is the bow and arrow in the corner, Sagittarius' symbol. This is showing that this is your time. August is going to be a really great month if you're ready, if you're open, if you believe in yourself. All right, closing up the energy of this month, we have the moon. And one of the challenges, possibly one of the only challenges in August, is going to be heavier emotions coming through towards the end. I mentioned the highs, that's the lovers, and then the low could be the moon. And it could just be something that comes through a little bit unexpected. I get in this energy, it could be someone that shows a side of themselves that you didn't want to see or you didn't anticipate, because the moon can be a lack of honesty or trickery or something that's been pushed beneath the surface and it comes back anyway. There could also just be something from childhood or the past that you need to heal. And so the Five of Pentacles is coming back. The child within is coming back this month and saying, let's put this to rest. Let's heal once and for all. It is a divine feminine card, and it also is one that represents power. The moon can pull things in, just like the Lovers card. So you have like two magnets coming through. What you want to be mindful of in any sort of contract or agreement is looking at the fine print, making sure that you know the person that you're connecting and maybe deciding to do some business with. And as long as you do that, you'll be fine. Typically in the foreground, you would see these two animals howling at the moon, but they are distracted by the path that's in front of, they're distracting one another and they're not seeing the path that's right behind them. So this is about not getting distracted with competition, with someone's negative comments or thoughts, and really just focusing on what matters most. So before we get to the summary for this month, there's one more card, and this is where it's all headed over 60 days. And we have a beautiful energy here, the Emperor. So this is your chance to really feel empowered. Also, for those of you that want to be a little bit more entrepreneurial or to take the reins, this is the time to do that. What I like about this is he is strategically looking at the next move. He's not just focused on the immediate win or the step after that. It's like 2, 3, or 4 steps forward. In everyday life, you might be looking at the latter part of the year, next year, or 5-year plan. Really getting specific, really allowing yourself to see beyond maybe even just your initial thought of what's possible. Go more into dreams and aspirations, okay? But you are sitting in a place of power and empowerment, and that's something to celebrate. The overarching card for August is fantastic, the Six of Cups. There could be someone that's coming back from the past and it's unexpected. There's a little bit of karma to clean. We saw it. There might have been something said or done in the past where maybe you didn't even realize it or they didn't, but the healing can happen now. What you see in this card is both the inner child within kind of getting older, but also if you're looking in the context of relationships around you, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, okay. Now I can see it from the perspective of an adult, and maybe there was equal parts, because we see this here with Justice. You both had a part that you played. It feels like the part's over, but there's some healing to be done. You could also be meeting someone amazing. The Six of Cups connected with that Lovers card is a deep soul connection. Now, if it's a new partner, they may also have a family or want to start one quickly. That child energy is with them, or they're just very youthful, playful. There's an irreverence to the energy as well. So that could be fun. That could also be diverting in both a positive and challenging way. So I do think sticking to your schedule, knowing your boundaries, knowing your limits is going to be really important. Overall, it's a pretty good 60-day spread here. We're going to go a little bit deeper now and take a look now at your health card. and then we'll go into the rest of the expanded forecast after that. I'm actually going to pull all three at once, health, wealth, and love, and then we'll break them down. So health, wealth, and love. Okay, we got some reversals here, not a big deal. We're going to take it first and look at health, mind, body, and spirit here. We have a focus on endurance, longevity, and evolution. Just one point of clarity here, especially as you see this illustration here, the turtle is either aquatic or semi-aquatic, whereas a tortoise is more of a land-based animal. But be that as it may, water is playing an important part. I've seen it in my mind's eye when I was tuning in to your sign, and I saw that sort of winding energy. Now we're seeing a fluidity with things. So when we're looking at the health, making sure you're drinking enough water, maybe spending time in the water. Swimming could be a great exercise if your doctor approves it, or if it's something that you enjoy. We're looking at the joints in this card as well, making sure that there is that ability to fluidly move the joints. That's the takeaway that I get with that. Also, connecting it to this sacred space. This is kind of a very hermiting energy, and when it's reversed, there could be a desire to just, or a push to get out of your home, to explore, to travel a little bit, okay? Looking at this broadly speaking, again, we're looking at a 60-day spread here. So when I look at this side, it's going to be the first 30, and then this is the latter 30. So at the beginning of this 60-day period, there could be a little bit of a cold or flu or just feeling run down. It's probably being exacerbated a little bit by a lack of sleep or just general stress/stress management. Doing something like swimming could be very advantageous in helping with stress management. So keep that in mind. When we're looking at the balance energy of justice, there could be deficiencies in, for instance, diet or exercise. So we need to make sure that you're not overdoing anything. And particularly when it comes to what you're putting into your body, you want to be very mindful of that. A balanced diet, enough exercise, enough sleep, balance overall. Both of these cards are connected to the throat chakra. So again, overall, the first 30 days, there could be a cold, head in, throat sort of thing where there's like nasal, post-nasal drip. Take care of yourself, get the rest. I do feel like you're going to get on your feet again. Okay, moving into the other part of the spread. The moon, as we look at the latter part, this like from day 30 to 60, there could be some issues, again, with general hydration, but this also has to do with urinary tract and reproductive organs. So if it's been a minute since you've been to the urologist, OBGYN, etc., it's a great time to get that annual physical. And Emperor energy just tends to be a little bit stuck in place. So I love that we're looking at slow movement with the turtle or the tortoise. So slow and steady is going to be what's key. Really focusing on environment, working environment, living environment, because it's entering into your thought process, which is feeding into this. So you really need to feel that the space is everything that you need. More of a focus on children and family in your life. This could be one of the added stresses, or it could be one of the things that you love. Either way, it looks like it's an important piece, so try to factor that into the spread here, okay? Let's move on from health to wealth. Well, couldn't get better than this for wealth. So we have the pig, and it shows affluence, fortune, and intelligence. Pigs get a bad rap. They are smart animals, but pigs are not always... Now, if you have an indoor pig as a pet, it's clean, but the environments that they're in aren't always. I'm thinking of a pig pen. So one thing when we're looking at just environments and habits, cleaning up the wealth area of your life. And again, wealth is all of these things. There could be something in your career, your personal finances, your resources, where it's just a little messy, the boundaries aren't clearly defined. You're smart, you know how to clean it up. It's just a matter of applying that knowledge. This is a great time to achieve better fortune, and it is really about leaning into your creativity, and that actually is the High Priestess here too. Like I believe that you know the way through this. It's just a matter of follow through. Now, the fact that this was reversed, this is like the King of Pentacles in reverse, because he would be the one that's focused on affluence or money or having things. When it's reversed, it's too much of a focus, so a reverse pig, same thing. And also, pig energy in general, not known for moderation. So when we're looking at spending habits this month, less is more. You don't want to make a decision on an emotional high or low, which we talked about. I think all of these things are going to help. Let's drill a little bit deeper. We're going to start off with those of you that are currently employed, and then we'll work our way through the different wealth categories. If you're currently employed, it looks like you're either overworked or underappreciated, and it doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. If this is happening, if you're working too many hours, you're not getting a raise, you're not getting promotion, you're not getting any sort of support, first of all, take care of yourself. If you can take a sick day, take a sick day. Before you have any major conversations or outbursts, get grounded and find your balance first. If something is legitimately not right, justice is saying fight for it. You are worthy. That's something I said at the beginning. You just have to be ready to fight that fight if that's something that you want. I think the biggest challenge is making sure that you speak up when you get an idea, so that people can see that you have these great thoughts, but sometimes it's hard to articulate because you might be afraid of rejection. You'll be more celebrated for coming up with ideas and putting yourself out there than by being a wallflower. So if there's a way that you can get more confidence, do that. And I'm not saying that insensitively. That's just how the guides are showing me. They're like, push the person forward. So I'm trying my best to say it in a way that's not, too harsh, but that's kind of what they're showing me. Step to the front, speak up, and do so in a way that isn't self-deprecating. So it's challenging but vital to just say it. Say, I have an idea. That's it. Say the idea. Let it go. Don't color the idea in a negative tone, saying, I'm not an expert, but this may sound outlandish, but don't do that to yourself. If you're going to do anything, hype it up, but don't deflate it. Say, I have a really interesting thing that may be exactly what you're looking for. Now I'm intrigued, right? Or I've done a lot of research on this, and I think this could be the key to success. Okay, now I'm all in. So you're either going to hype it up or you're going to be as neutral as possible. Have you considered this? You can ask a question. Have you thought about this? Have we covered this? I have a thought. Do you want to hear it? That's fine. You haven't said it's a good or a bad thought. You're checking to see if they're open. Or can we table it? Can we talk about this later? Just don't color it negatively, okay? That's the most important thing. So the first 30 days are about creating better balance and getting your voice and your vision out there a little bit more, because you are creative. You do have a lot to bring here, and I think people are going to start to see that. The second part of this reading here, as we're looking more into August, I do think you're going to be able to achieve what you want, and people may see you more as the leader that you are. There's still some emotions involved with getting more outspoken. If you can do it with someone else, like have someone be with you if you make a presentation or back you up when you're saying something, power in numbers. We see friendship, we see love, we see camaraderie here, and that's the key to success. Also, people like you. This is a generally good energy here, especially in August. So this is the time to be a little bit more persuasive and have those conversations if you want to have them. Overall, pretty good. All right, let's move on to entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs. The bottom line is the first thing. I'm looking at it specifically in July. There's some stress. There's some opportunities to tighten up things a little bit with the bottom line. So that's important. Make sure that if there's something that's operating at a loss, you remedy that. Either the price has to change or it has to kind of be pulled from production. Don't work yourself to exhaustion, please. There's some great new ideas, and you should be strategically thinking here about 2 or 3 quarters from now. Ostensibly, we're looking at a 4-quarter thing. So way beyond right here, what is it going to look like a year from now, maybe a couple of years from now, getting super strategic. I think that the biggest challenge right now is how to get to this 9 of Pentacles from the 5 of Pentacles. It could be about selling off some things. It could just be about changing price points a little bit. But it does feel like a few small tweaks could, in 30 to 45 days, create a much firmer foundation. It looks like August is better than this month ahead. And the place where I really see things shining is with customers and coworkers, and it's the people that you've kind of pulled into your orbit. Appreciate them. Say thank you. Reward them. And it can be through, for customers, a special sale. If it's the people that work with you, for you, then you give them a bonus. Whatever you can do to extend that appreciation, okay? All right, moving onward to those that are seeking work. I definitely see more of an ability to find something in August than in July, but in July there is one for sure that comes through. I think the main thing here to look at is pay and make sure that you negotiate. And it's going to be an interesting negotiation. They're not going to give a lot extra, but you should still ask for a little bit more, and I feel like you can get that. I would really encourage you to look at morale and also your own sort of gut feeling when it comes to overall stress. Like, is it worth the amount of time and energy that is going to be expected? If nothing materializes in July, I feel so much better about August, because the Lovers, the Nine of Cups, the Six of Cups, these are joyful cards. And this is a very good card for finding something in the range that you're looking for. So it could take a little longer than you think, but I like this option. If you need to do something earlier, then just negotiate it so that we can get this to the Six of Pentacles at the very least. So at least two options. The first one, drill deeper into corporate culture wherever you're going and make sure that you're getting the money that you need. Second option, I love the people. I'm not seeing the money as much, so make sure that you also understand compensation on this. That seems to be an overall theme across the 2 months, but this one feels a lot easier and a lot better. The way you're going to find this, Six of Cups can be like immediate friends and family. You wouldn't have to even search that far, but we don't always talk to our immediate friends about that, and we may feel a little bit sheepish about asking someone. If you see that they're connected to someone that knows someone at a company, lean into that. I would definitely lean into that. And because it's a very close connection. It's like one step away. Otherwise, it's important to try to get a face-to-face or to get a Zoom call with someone, because when you have that ability to be in real time talking to them, that's when something magical happens. They also want to see your passion. So there's so many different ways that you can show that in a website. And also with everything being AI driven, I even just heard this on the news the other day, having something not AI driven could actually help your resume stand out. So make sure you're writing your own stuff. And I mentioned one size doesn't fit all. When it comes to applications, you have to tweak those little buckets. And I know nowadays we don't even necessarily do CVs. We're cutting and pasting stuff, but just make sure that you tweak things a little bit for each application so that it shines. Okay? You do have a chance. Both of these months we have I prefer the Emperor over the King of Swords, but you have a great energy coming through and you're going to land on your feet on either of these. Negotiation is the key. Students, stress management is going to be the most important thing as we look at the energy of July. Some of you are deciding what's next. Like, do I want to continue with this major? Do I want to go to this school? What do I want to do after school? Getting strategic. Weigh all the options and get more time if you need it. I do think that the month ahead after that looks much better. August seems great. So in July, just make sure that you're taking care of yourself, that you're not overworking, and I think that you're on a good track here. If you're looking for a new school, a couple of things that are really important here. I think student life is everything. You need to really feel like you would be celebrated and welcome, because this is a card of being the outsider looking in. So in order to thrive, you really need that sense of community. And it's important to have an advisor that has your back. And it's also important for you to feel passionate about what you're studying. So if you're getting familial pressure to do something, but it's not your passion, push back. I know it's hard if you're not paying for the school, but if either way, you're going to be more successful if it's something that you truly want. So it's a reality check there. But overall, pretty good spread. I would love for you to look closely at your roommate situation. So if you're first time, I know nowadays they have you can connect with people on Instagram, you can chat with people. There's so much more conversation versus when I was in school, I think we just sent a letter in the mail or something and it was good luck. Now you have a chance to kind of, if you're in a school that allows you to filter out and get to know these people, do that, because that sacred space that you're going to share together is going to be very important. Retirees, could be some empty nest syndrome. And in this period of time, increased focus on the relationship itself or making new acquaintances, connecting with other people in your life that are in other peers, and maybe doing something on your own separate from, we're not even looking at relationships, but it does feel like you just need to do something that's all you, okay? And I'll allow you to define that. I think the biggest challenge with respect to retirees is just money. And it does look like you can turn it around, but there could be a little bit of concerns over Maybe it's even deciding to downsize a little bit, because homes can get expensive, and then when you sell that, we see more money coming out of it. Obviously, work with your financial and investor, make sure that you understand everything that you're getting into or out of, but it looks good overall. All right, let's move onward. We're going to take a look now at love and relationships and see what the messages are here. Okay, so easier said than done. We have the hair coming through with spontaneity, anxiety, and fear. The spontaneity piece is the one where sometimes it's hard to just be in the moment, but it makes relationships more fun. So it's the spark. It's saying, hey, do you want to see a movie tonight? Or I saw that such and such is happening and I know you love it. Want to do it? I called. We can make it happen. So surprising your partner, but always checking for making sure that they want to do it. I think that's key. But just say, it's your call, but one phone call, I can make it happen. Sometimes that's very fun, right? Or just surprising them with something, making them dinner or something like that. Spontaneity is key. The anxiety and the fear definitely played out in the Nine of Swords and the Five of Pentacles and some of the other cards, but I think you can find your way through it. And here's the cool thing with rabbits. Things will pass quickly. I think of fast-moving energy with this. So just sit for a second, and whatever you're feeling, especially if it is fear or anxiety, a couple of breaths, a couple of hours can change your perspective wildly. Okay, if you're currently in a partnership, here's what we see. One of you or both of you could be dealing with some financial challenges. It's important to be transparent and communicative there. There are some inner child things coming through also, where honestly, that is something where you can only heal one another so far. That's something that the person needs to work on. And maybe you can help them find the resource. Otherwise, there could just be sickness, and just patience is going to be necessary if someone is dealing with a cold, flu, etc. But low self-esteem, that's a completely different category, and that is something where it's almost like a relationship counselor is needed for that, but I'm just calling what I see here. Sometimes we really stress about talking to our partner when it's hopefully the easiest and best friend that we have in our life, so it's worth it. I see a happy outcome and unnecessary stress. If you've been in a relationship for a while, but you aren't already married or exclusive, the Justice card shows a decision. Hey, like, are you ready? I'm ready. And it feels like there's mutual admiration here. So it's just a joint decision to take this to the next level. Maybe move in together. For the rest of you, there could be, like I said, an empty nest syndrome that's coming through. But the cool thing here is there's a chance now to deepen the love with one another and possibly connect more to peers and friends in your life as well. Okay? Overall, good energy. I do think that both the King and the Emperor are kind of stubborn energies, and they have their own way of doing things. So meeting in the middle, finding the middle ground, negotiating a little bit is important. Compromise was the word I was looking for. If you're single and looking, can you find someone? Absolutely. More so in August. July is a self-care and a self-repair month, if I could kind of phrase it that way. Looking at health and finances, making sure that your stress level is where it needs to be, creating a better balance, clearing up your home space. Once you do this, we have an air sign that could come through at the end of the first 30 days. Could be a Libra, especially since we have Justice, but any air sign, also Aquarius and Gemini is possible. That being said, I really feel like this is like an icing or a cherry on top. It does not need to be the focus of the first month. Instead, I feel like you're primed for relationship energy more so in August, and you have a couple, 2 or 3 options that could be coming through. You won't really need me to read for you, because when Six of Cups and Lover's energy is present, there is an undeniable spark that's there, and that should be the deciding factor. I will say this though, whoever you're pulling in, they could be very ready to commit or start a family because we have the Six of Cups so close to it. This could also be a connection from the past. And it may start off more like a friendship or something, and you're seeing someone beyond that. So this is a relationship that has the potential to grow beyond the initial spark, but that initial spark has to be there, okay? That's the big takeaway here. Might also be a bit of an age gap because we have Emperor energy. Or this person's just very mature. So it could be a youthful person with an old soul, or there could be someone that's a little bit older that doesn't look, act, or seem their age. Something a little bit unusual about that overall package. Okay? If you are single and happy, good for you. One of the big things that you can work on this month is to get into a better place with your finances, moving from 5 of Pentacles to 9 of Pentacles, and self-confidence, again, with communication skills as well. Home decorating, reorganizing, feng shui, doing something great with your house. The other thing here is when you want to launch something or do something, August is an amazing month for that. This is true of everyone, but it came up here in Single and Happy. Everybody's got their eyes on you. So you can step into the spotlight, make a splash, and really exit this 60-day period with a smile on your face. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at one final question for today. Anything that you still need some clarity on, this is your moment, this is your chance. Go ahead and ask that question. I'm going to shuffle the cards and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Okay, so you have the 8 of Cups coming through. As a yes or no, it's going to possibly take a couple of attempts because this isn't just a one and done sort of thing. It might be something where you have to have 2 or 3 conversations. You might have to just simply give it time to manifest a little bit. But yes, but it's going to take longer than you think. More nuanced kind of conversation around this. This is the second time we see someone coming from the past here, 6 of Cups. So there could be an old friend, love interest, or family member with whom you want to do some healing work because this was your karma. So there's a chance to let that go and to finally feel like that door, that chapter can be closed, because you can close the door and lock it too with the 5 of Pentacles. Say, done and dusted. We don't have to repeat that. It's time for a vacation, a break. If you have an important not conversation, but an important decision to make, and we saw that here with Justice, make sure that you have the time and space to do it. Give yourself at least 24 hours, maybe give yourself a week or so. The longer the better, and then eventually you're just going to feel like, okay, I'm ready. When you're ready, and only when you're ready, move forward. That was great. I really enjoyed this format. I hope you did too. This is the 4th that I've done this month. This is my favorite so far. I really enjoyed changing it up a little bit. I think it's so nice and so helpful to see something that spans 2 months because it gives you more, there's like less pressure, right? You know that you have longer and certain things are going to fit better into the first month. Certain things are going to fit better into the second month. If you enjoyed this, please consider subscribing if you're brand new. Everyone else, like and comment. Let me know what resonated. Let me know what you're looking forward to in this period of time. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. And on Blue Sky, it's nicholasashbaugh.com. You can go to my website, which I just named, nicholasashbaugh.com, for news, information, official links, and frequently asked questions. And if you'd like to give back, first of all, thank you. Couldn't do this without your support. You could become a sustaining channel member, and that is just a great way to set it, forget it, and allow me to have more resources for equipment and materials and extra sessions like this. So thank you if you want to do that. You can also put a sticker with your comment below, and that's another way to make it stand out and say thank you. And that's everything, guys. Thank you so much for being amazing. The best part of what I do here on YouTube. Apollo is sleeping in the other room, so I'm going to let him be. But from my heart to yours, wishing you all the best, and I'll see you soon.